Right then, after 2 days of intense strategizing and bidding, the 10 IPL teams have finally taken some shape. 551 crore rupees was spent at the auction table. A total of 204 players went under the hammer. Who were the biggest gainers? Who were the biggest losers? That is what we're going to tell you in the next half an hour in our special program, The Big IPL Sale. I'm your host, Nikhil Naz, and I'll be joined by some very special guests a little later in the program. But first, the biggest buys on day 2 of the IPL auction. While a few names were expected to earn huge sums of money, there were some who caught everyone by surprise. Here's a reminder of the biggest buys on the final day of this year's mega auction.
Liam Livingston, the highest overseas buy at the IPL mega auction. Punjab Kings obtained Livingston's services for a whopping 11.5 crores. The England all-rounder went past the likes of Vanindu Hasaranga and Nicholas Pooran, both of whom were bought for 10.75 crores on day 1 of the auction. T20 specialist Tim David, who has become a rage amongst the T20 leagues of the world, had his big payday in the IPL. From his base price of 40 lakhs, he was bought by the Mumbai Indians for 8.25 crores. Englishman Jofra Archer was also a big pick on the second day of the auction. Even though the tall fast bowler will only be available from next season, Mumbai left no stone unturned to get him. After a bidding war with the Rajvardhan Royals, Akash Ambani and company finally had their man, but not before they paid 8 crores for him. The surprise pick of the day turned out to be the West Indian all-rounder Romario Shepherd. Shepherd, a fast bowler and a lethal dasher down the order, was picked up by Sunrisers Hyderabad for 7.75 crores. Another West Indian, Odion Smith, who had 2 impressive outings in the recently concluded ODI series against India, was picked up by Punjab Kings as well for 6 crores. Khalil Ahmed, the left-arm pacer who had a base price of 50 lakhs, was bought for 5.25 crores by the Delhi Capitals. Another left-armer, Marco Jansen, the South African pacer who troubled the Indian batsmen in the Test series, was bought by Sunrisers Hyderabad for 4.2 crores. All-rounder Shivam Dube, who has played for Rajasthan and RCB in the past, was sold to CSK for 4 crores. Meanwhile, Chetan Sakaria was bought by Delhi Capitals for 4.2 crores. Among the under-19 stars, Bawa turned out to be the top pick, with Punjab paying the all-rounder 2 crores for his services. All-rounder Rajvardhan Hangargekar was snaffled by the Chennai Super Kings for 1.5 crores. Meanwhile, captain Yash Dhull was sold to his hometown franchisee, the Delhi Capitals, for 50 lakhs. Sports Bureau, India Today.
Passes sold.
The big headline acts on day 2 of the auction were Liam Livingston. He proved to be the most expensive buy at 11.5 crores and went to the Punjab Kings. Other than that, there were other names like Tim David, an unknown name, born in Singapore, 6 foot 5 inches, hasn't played much of IPL. He was another player that was really the headline act, going to the Mumbai Indians at 8.25 crores. Jofra Archer, remember, Jofra Archer is a player who will not be playing this season of the IPL. And if you're asking how is it that he still fetched about 8 crore for Mumbai Indians, because remember, he will be available from the next season onwards. So plenty of interesting buys on day 2 as well. There you have it. That's the player that I was talking about at 8.25 crore. Went to Mumbai Indian in Tim David. Surprising name, Romario Shepherd, 7.75 crore to SRH. Now remember, he's a fast bowling all-rounder from Guyana, has played for the West Indies and was really spoken about as far as his Caribbean Premier League performances are concerned. And that's the other player that went for a big amount, unknown for a few, but then those who follow cricket religiously would know of him as well. Odion Smith, again, another West Indian player that went for about 6 crores to Punjab. So these were a few interesting buys on day 2. Marco Jansen, Indian fans would remember, the young, tall, left-arm fast bowler who bowled rather well in the recently concluded India versus South Africa series for 4.2 crores, went to Sunrisers Hyderabad. Chetan Sakaria, 4.2 to Delhi. And Shivam Dube, an upcoming all-rounder, he's played for the Indian team, then went again a bit downhill as far as his performance is concerned, but now has been seeked in by Chennai Super Kings. And under the tutelage of someone like MS Dhoni, you expect someone like Shivam Dube to mature, to become better as it goes along. The big one, the big name was Suresh Raina, who missed out, also called as Mr. IPL, but completely missed out on any bid from any team. Now, the domestic stars who earned the big bucks today, while most of India wouldn't know a lot about these players, the franchises surely spent a lot of money on them, making them crore pratis overnight. Here are the 5 unknown stars who got themselves a big payday. The top international and Indian stars once again got the headlines and the big bucks. But like every IPL auction, there were a few unknown domestic players who were rewarded for their performances. Cricketers who became crore pratis overnight. R. Sai Kishore. Not many would know that R. Sai Kishore is part of the Indian reserves for the T20I series against the West Indies. The left-arm spinner has played a pivotal role in Tamil Nadu's success in the past few years. From winning the Tamil Nadu Premier League to winning the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy, his prize of 3 crores paid by Gujarat Titans is justified. Karnataka may have lost the final of the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy on the final ball, but Abhinav Manohar left his mark on the tournament. Manohar smashed 162 runs in 4 innings at a strike rate of 150. He was called for trials by 6 IPL franchises. Finally, he was picked for 2.6 crores by the Gujarat Titans. Hyderabad's Tilak Verma earned himself a 1.7 crore paycheck from the Mumbai Indians. Tilak scored 139 against Delhi in the Vijay Hazare Trophy this year. In addition, he has 381 runs in 15 T20 games with a strike rate of 144. With 28 fours and 17 sixes, his big hitting ability along with his handy off breaks make him a valuable buy. Yash Dhull is another Dhull, who represents Uttar Pradesh in domestic cricket, was the only shining light in their Vijay Hazare campaign. He picked up 14 wickets in 7 matches and was among the top 5 wicket takers of the tournament. Himachal pacer Vaibhav Arora, who was part of KKR last season, was bought by the Punjab Kings this time. But not before they paid 2 crores for him. Vaibhav played a big role in Himachal's Vijay Hazare triumph, picking up 8 wickets in 5 games. While KKR too was involved in the bidding war, Punjab bagged him at the end.
Kolkata Knight Riders 125, the Mumbai Indians 850. And done. Congratulations.
Joining us, a very special guest on our special program, Vikram Solanki, the Director of Cricket of Gujarat Titans. Vikram, thanks so much for joining us. And this is something that we were even looking at your team yesterday, and we had Gary Kirsten talking to us, and I asked him about the wicketkeeper. He said, of course, we'll have to get him tomorrow, but you left it a bit late, right at the end, almost towards the end, and not one, you got 2 in Ridhiman Saha and Matthew Wade. What was the strategy behind that?
I don't think there was a strategy to leave it quite as late as we did, but we're very happy that we were able to get not 1 but 2, exactly as you say, very fine wicket keepers that offer us batting options as well.
Okay, the one name, you know, Vikram, you know about how we love our cricket, and usually it's not always the guys that fetch the biggest prize that make the top headlines. It's usually the guys that come from domestic cricket and end up becoming crore-patis that get the #1 headlines in this country. And so you've got the headline act in Yash Dhull, the left-arm fast bowler at 3.2 crore. We know that he's a bowler from Uttar Pradesh. Can you tell us a bit more about him and what was the thought process in getting him at that price?
Yeah, we're very excited about Yash Dhull joining us. He comes hugely recommended. We've done a good amount of due diligence and studying of recent form. The fact that he's an exceptional left-arm seamer stands him in good stead in any form, whether it be red ball or white ball cricket. But we're very excited that we were able to sort of get him across the line at the auction.
And I'm looking at a few other very interesting names from your squad. You've got an Abhinav Manohar, you've got a Sai Kishore, you've got a Noor Ahmed, the young 17-year-old, I believe. Clearly, your scouting team has been working overtime, isn't it?
I think that's probably the case, and in fact, I'm confident that's the case with all of the teams. There is so much at stake in the IPL. There is such resource available that you must make sure you're well prepared, and your scouts need to make sure they're aware of any talent that is possibly going to add to your squad. What we've had to deal with is to try and sort of accelerate that process, and the fact that we've had to come together a little later than ideally we would have liked to, but that is where we are. But yes, you're absolutely right. We've relied a huge amount on Ashish Kapoor and his sort of recent history of scouting and understanding young Indian talent. And we've also then relied obviously on Sandeep Raju, who's our analyst. We've tried to get the best we can as far as all of the analytics is concerned. And then of course we've got both Ashish and Gary Kirsten who are widely experienced in Indian cricket. So we've certainly tried to do as much as we possibly can, and it's an important part of any auction process. It's an important part of building any sort of team, that you're aware of the talent that is available, that the talent that is likely to go to other teams if you are not sort of quick to assess and make a decision on them.
Vikram, we were talking to Gary Kirsten at the end of day one of the auction, and I asked him what is it that he's going to be looking forward to on day two, and he said probably top order batsmen. That is what our team is going to be looking at. Today I'm just looking at the players that you've got. You've got in the top order batsmen, maybe you've got a Miller and you've got a Matthew Wade. I could even consider Wriddhiman Saha as a top order batsman. Are you happy overall with your batting? Because, just looking at it from the outside, I think if I could just pinpoint and be really picky in terms of looking at one weak spot in your team, that could be some top order batsman.
You've missed the fact that we actually at the outset had Shubman Gill and Hardik Pandya, who's a destructive batsman in itself. Look, you're very entitled to your opinion. Of course, you've watched a lot of cricket, and I'm sure your viewers, as well as everybody that is sort of interested in cricket, could go through the entire list of absolutely every IPL team and pick what, in your opinion, might be sort of weaker spots. What I will say is that after the course of the 2 days at the auction, we're very happy with the list that we've managed to get to Gujarat Titans, and we're very excited by all of the players, whether they be batsmen, bowlers, spinners, wicket keepers. And actually, we think we've got a real good blend of youth experience in amongst it. We've got some clear match winners, and we've got some future match winners, in our opinion.
All right, final question, Vikram, before we let you go. And this I'm asking you not necessarily as director of cricket with an IPL franchise, but as a former player yourself. Now, the biggest story in India at the moment from the IPL auction is the likes of Suresh Raina and Amit Mishra going unsold. Suresh Raina, as you know, sometimes is referred to as Mr. IPL himself, and Amit Mishra is the second highest wicket taker in IPL history. Just as a former player, is this also the nature of the beast? Things tend to move really fast, and who could be an outstanding player in a season or two, teams tend to move ahead?
My first response would be to sort of acknowledge what fine players both of them have been, and what fine servants they've both been to the game, to the IPL. Viewers have been treated with sort of beautiful cricket from both of them, one with the bat, one with the ball. And I sort of congratulate them really on just being such outstanding cricketers. When you're sort of getting to a point, and it comes back to the point I was trying to make, selection often is just no more than an opinion. It's somebody's opinion, and that is all it essentially is. They've been huge players in the IPL, and I'll say no more than I'd just like to congratulate how fine they've what a sort of fine display they put on in the IPL and in all forms of the game.
Right, Vikram, thanks so much for taking our time and speaking to India today. We wish you all the very best. It's a new franchise, but as you were talking there, you've assembled a very, very good team. So all the best for when the action really starts on the cricket field. All right, that was Vikram Solanki joining us live and exclusive, the director of cricket of Gujarat Titans. Now, the second highest buy at this year's IPL auction, the highest among all bowlers, was Deepak Chahar, who was picked up by Chennai Super Kings for a mind-boggling 14 crores. He spoke exclusively to India Today's Rahul Rawat. Listen in to what he had to say about the massive money he's now got from the IPL auction.
All right, we've got the highest paid Indian bowler or Indian fast bowler. In fact, Indian bowler would be the right word to use, because 14 crores is what CSK have shelled out to get the services of Deepak Chahar. He's right here with us. Deepak, firstly, many congratulations. Quite a good amount, this 14 crores, and that too from CSK, Chennai Super Kings. So they've trusted you. They've shown faith in whatever you've done earlier for them, and even what they expect from you from here on.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, obviously they have spent quite a bit money for me, and I would like to thank CSK management, because and if I was them for sure, then it would have been like very difficult situation to go for me or not, because they had less money, and obviously to buy me in 14 crores was a big thing. I didn't expect that to happen. I was always thinking, if I go in CSK would go in 10 to 12 crores. If I go more than that, then it might be other team, because other teams, they had more money. So obviously I'm really glad, I got both the things, got good amount and went to CSK again.
And Deepak, your batting, of course, we know what you are capable of with that ball in your hand, but also your batting gives you an edge, maybe a few extra bucks because of what you can do with the bat.
I think surely, because as you see in this auction, all the bowlers, they have gone around 10 and 11 or 9, basically. Me getting 14 is, I think, last 3-4 innings which I played with a bat. I think that has got me some extra bucks, and obviously I'll try to do that in IPL as well.
And did you have any idea before the auctions that Chennai Super Kings will be going for you? If you've had spoken to anybody, MS Dhoni or any other people from the management before the auctions began?
Yeah, obviously I had an idea they'll go for me, but again, as I said, never know what happens in the auction, because there were other teams, they had more money than CSK. So obviously the CSK has to build the team, and they have to buy other players as well. So I was nervous. I could go anywhere, because the auction is like that. But yeah, they bid for me, and I'm really happy to go in CSK.
Deepak, your father must be a really proud man, because he's worked a lot on you. He's worked really hard on you, with you, and watching you in that India blue jersey, and also now fetching 14 crores. Money may not be that important, of course, to an extent it is, but still, when you are in that league, maybe you are one of the best. That is the reason why you get this much of an amount.
That's what. Yeah, he was happy. I told he was happy. Really, there are a few moments in his life that he's been very happy. Yesterday was one of that. But not because of money, because he wanted to see his son at that league, where all the teams want him. So I think yesterday was a day where he could feel that, and he was so proud of that thing. Every team wanted me, and he was happy that I went to CSK, because the CSK has given me everything. Because when I started playing for CSK, and they had supported me and given me everything which I needed.
All right, that was Deepak Chahar, the second highest prize that any player fetched at this IPL auction. He will be playing for the team that he had been playing continuously for the last few years. That is the Chennai Super Kings. Won the title last time around with them. So they are, of course, the defending champions. So let's take a look at how the squads have really panned out. And we're starting with the defending champions in Chennai Super King. They've gone with their old philosophy of keeping their core group. So they had, of course, MS Dhoni at the helm. He's still there. Ravindra Jadeja, Moeen Ali, Ruturaj. These were the outstanding performers last time around. They've retained them. Now have also acquired Raidu, Deepak Chahar, Robin Uthappa, K. Asif. These were some players that were part of that IPL winning squad. So they've kept that. And then also picked up some very young players in Mukesh Chaudhary, Prashant Solanki. And then also gone back to Santner, the all-rounder. And Chris Jordan at 3.6 crore was a surprise pick. Let's take a look at some other teams and how their squad is really shaping out. And we have to look at at the most successful IPL franchise in history, that is Mumbai Indians. And Mumbai Indians had a quiet day one of the auction and then really picked up from there in day two. Even the first half of day two was very, very conservative, but then came into their own. Clearly, they had a strategy in mind. They had a few players that they had identified. The big ones that they've picked today, the highlights today, Tim David at 8.25 crore. He is a young guy, not really known in the international circuit, was born in Singapore, 6'5", played for RCB last season, but just the one game, and so not too many people know about him. But he is the guy to watch out for. 8.25 crore is what they paid for him. The other headline was, of course, them getting a Jofra Archer at 8 CR. Won't be playing this season, but from next season onward is going to be very, very crucial. Just imagine that lineup. Jofra Archer, Jasprit Bumrah with the new ball. Tilak Verma at 1.7 crore, somebody that hails from Hyderabad, highly spoken of in the domestic circuit. So the scouts at Mumbai Indians hard at work, and they have picked this particular squad. Now let's move on now to the Delhi team, the team that has done rather well in the last two seasons, very close to the title but have missed out on two occasions. They retained Rishabh Pant, Prithvi Aksar and Anrik Nokia. But who are their big buys this time? Mitchell Marsh, the all-rounder from Australia, David Warner, the destructive batsman, Shardul Thakur, they'd be very, very happy about in an all-rounder that they've got. Kuldeep Yadav, the Chinaman, has also gone to them. Today, if you take a look at what they've done, they've got the under-19 captain in Yash Dhull in their side. Rovman Powell, who you will see in the forthcoming T20Is versus West Indies, is someone that Delhi Capitals have picked. And other than that, another under-19 player in Vicky Oswal is what Delhi has gone for. We're just giving you an bird's eye view of how the teams are looking at the moment, the larger picture, the macro picture. We'll turn our attention now to a few more squads, how they are looking. But before that, we're joined by a special guest in Andy Flower, who joins us now, who's the head coach of Lucknow Super Giants. Andy, happy with what's been the day two of the auction? I was talking to the owner of the team, Mr. Goenka, yesterday, and I asked him that you've only got 6.9 crore left in your kitty. You've only got 11 players. You'll have to pick up a lot more players. Will you manage to do it? And in the end, it seems like you have managed to do it. Happy with the way the squad has turned out in those 21 players?
Are you happy with the players?
Nikhil, thanks for having me on your show. It's great to be over here. It's been a fascinating weekend. Listen, the audio in my room is not brilliant, so I didn't get everything you asked. But I'm assuming you're asking whether I'm happy with the squad that we've picked.
Yep.
And I can definitely tell you, after a lot of debate and good communication with Gautam Gambhir, Vijay Dahiya, and of course Dr. Goenka, I think we're really happy with the squad that we have assembled this weekend. It's got obviously a lot of multifaceted players that you will have noticed, and it's got pace, which is going to be really exciting to watch, and we're going to bat deep so we can afford to play a really aggressive form of the game. So it's a really exciting start to our campaign.
Andy, before I ask you the next question, just checking, can you hear me better now?
Can you hear him better now?
The audio is average, to be honest.
Okay, if there's someone with you who's got a phone, I suggest if they put it on speaker, then you'd be able to hear my question better. And that would that work, or should I just go ahead with the question?
I'm sorry, guys, can't hear you clearly. I wish I could. I'd like to contribute to your show, but it's a bit of a struggle at the moment.
All right, Andy, no worries. We completely understand. Those are the perils of technology sometimes. But thanks so much for making that effort to join our show. But unfortunately, Andy couldn't hear us at the moment, so we couldn't really get a lot of inputs from him. But we'll try and get him back on our show some other day. But Andy, just looking at your team, I know you couldn't hear me well, but when you see the show a little later, I just wanted to tell you before we let you go that you've assembled a very, very good team. I'm just looking at the squad members that you've got. A complete all-round package is what you can say about the Lucknow Super Giants. You can see that team on your screens right now, and they've got all bases covered. The one thing that really stands out in this squad is that they've gone for genuinely quick bowlers in Chamira, Markwood and Avesh Khan. So clearly they're betting on genuinely fast bowlers. Raw pace is what the team wants. Other thing that you notice when you look at this team is the all-rounders that they've got. They've got someone like a Marcus Stoinis, Jason Holder, Krunal Pandya, Deepak Huda. So 4 all-rounders in all, and possibly all 4 could even fit into the 11, and that makes them a very potent side. So when you play other teams, having that sort of an option of 4 all-rounders will make them very, very potent as they go along. That is what the team is. They picked up Krishnappa Gautam, Shahbaz Nadeem, 2 good spinners as well. So they've got a well-rounded squad. Other than that, Mumbai Indians, Chennai Super Kings are the other few squads that are looking good. But on paper, right now, most squads are looking very, very balanced. It's when you actually sit down to make the 11, that's when you find out where the balance of which team lies. Unfortunately, completely out of time, but thanks so much for joining us on this IPL special. News continues on India Today.